Actually started in hotel management at Walt Disney World in Florida. That's where I actually met my co-founder. We were both hotel managers, and we decided that we wanted to look more into the creator economy. We just feel like there's a lot of impact to be made, lots of money in that space, giving them a platform to essentially go from creating content to running a business.
That's actually critical to stay afloat. They need to monetize to get cash in the door to keep their creative business afloat.
AI is an incredible tool, not a replacement. We see AI as a way to scale the human voice. That is constantly the freedom that you give an AI tool to replicate yourself is all over the place right now.
Really appreciate your time. Really appreciate you coming on board and accepting, because Trovio is definitely, just came up of interest, right? To sort of find out, and explore for the audience a creator growth platform that you have, to see where your journey has been, how you've grown, how you've built, to see what your journey is. So it would be great to get sort of, a quick origin story, an intro into you, your company,
Yeah.
for the audience.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be here. Let's see, I actually started in hotel management at Walt Disney World in Florida, and that's where I actually met my co-founder. We were both hotel managers. That was 15 years ago. We then went our separate ways, and he went into product. At Disney, and a couple other companies. And then I took more of the engineering route. So most of my time was at LinkedIn. And the interesting thing about LinkedIn and how it relates to Trovio is for most of my time at LinkedIn, I worked on creator tools at LinkedIn. And so we built out LinkedIn Live, LinkedIn Learning, basically anything like that's video still on the platform today. So that kind of, I guess, created the itch for what we're doing now. And before I honestly, at the time, I was like, I don't know that I want to start my own company. Had and have a family. And so I didn't know if I wanted to enter the startup world. So I went to Calm, meditation app Calm, um, and worked on the growth team there, which was great experience for a startup. Just because, it gave me the ability to kind of learn how to grow a semi-small company. Leading the engineering team for that was a great experience. So anyway, fast forward to today, back to Andrew, my co-founder, who I met at Disney. He and I kind of both left our respective jobs. Me at Calm, he was head of product at Weight Watchers, and we left our respective jobs, and we decided that we wanted to look more into the creator economy. I just feel like there's a lot of impact to be made. Lots of money in that space, and um, it's interesting to learn about. I've learned a ton about it on the creator side um, over the past year or so, and just the amount of money that brands are making and that these big social platforms are making. But the typical creator actually only makes, I say typical, but let's say more than half of creators out there only make below $15,000 a year. And, so they're the ones creating the content, not necessarily getting paid, or at least having the know-how or even sometimes tools to go out and be able to monetize the content they're creating. So that was an interesting, vision, mission on our. It's kind of like what brought us to where we are today, and that's really what we're trying to do, is trying to solve that gap for creators by giving them a platform to essentially go from creating content to running a business, because that's really what creators are doing is entrepreneurs start and trying to figure out how to bring in brand deals, how to work with affiliate platforms, all that stuff that can earn you that consistent revenue. So you can kind of do what you want to do as a content creator and make some money while doing it.
That's interesting. So essentially, you have a platform where creators launch a personalized experience, their own experience based on their content, on their followers' preferences, etc., and then Trovio. Is it Trovio? Trivio? How do you pronounce it? You say tomato, I say tomato. Well, where are we going with that?
Yeah. Trovio. Yeah. It's kind of based on the term of like a treasure trove of information that these creators are giving. And we also kind of picked it just because we are continuing to adapt. That's one of the things that um, we're really passionate about is working with creators on this and not just like building something and, and trying to get everyone to use it. So, we thought Trovio was like a nice, kind of take it wherever we want.
Trovio, excellence. I love that. I love the concept behind it. So Trovio basically turns creators' profiles and insights and helps creators monetize with their content, segmenting their content, brand pictures to bigger brands, etc. Um, and it basically helps people who are typically creators and creative who don't really know the business side of it put the two together.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the really easy way to say it is that, you might have 1 million followers on Instagram, but you don't really know who any of those followers are. So Trovio helps you unlock that and creates almost like a CRM, customer relation management tool that allows you to kind of understand who they are, what they're into, what content you're posting that is resonating, what content isn't, and then really bringing that data onto our platform. So you have a much richer uh, you know, data set on your audience than just how many likes, how many followers, and engagement rate. That's like the industry standard right now. These vanity metrics that really don't tell brands anything about a creator. It's really about like who your audience is, and that's what we're trying to unlock for creators.
So really sort of targeting creators with their specific audiences. So, to sort of hit a creator's niche effectively, right? So in terms
Yeah,
of,
or potentially discover a niche that the creator doesn't even know they have. We've had a couple of creators that, are doing travel content for a specific city, but realize that they have followers that are following them because they love their routine, when they're not traveling or
Mm.
whatever the case may be. So that's been really interesting to see, and for creators to see kind of these like hidden niches kind of buried within their main niche.
For sure. And what's interesting about that is sometimes a creator, when they're in their business and in their mix of what they do, they don't necessarily see what you as an outsider might see coming in and looking in and what they're doing to be able to.
I think so. As a content creator, the kind of the way to success right now is just post as much as you can, as regular as you can, and gain followers. And so when you're in that mode and that mindset, that's what you're doing. And so you're focused on, it's hard enough to figure out what content to post, right? So you've nailed down, or you believe you've nailed down your niche, and you're just going to keep pumping out content because that is the only way that you can make it with these algorithms, because you have no control over it. So, and yeah, it's almost like bringing in a consultant to like audit your account and be like, okay, this is, and that's where we start, which is cool. Like if you log in, like, you'll see your content and you'll see, okay, this post performed well, this post maybe didn't. It's almost like a you versus you type of thing. And, like give that audit. And then, but we think the power is then engaging your audience to like really get this unique data back from them.
Amazing. So, I mean, you and your business partner, Andrew, has
Yeah.
what a background at Disney, and you have a background at LinkedIn, Calm, and Apple. Is that correct? So,
Yeah, worked at Apple on the marketing team for a bit.
so I mean, that's big blue chip backgrounds. From your perspectives, um, you know, in terms of personalization, which sort of instincts from those big corporate blue chip worlds most shape Trovio's first release?
Yeah, I think that's where Andrew is really bringing the product. He actually worked on specifically on personalization for Disney Cruise Line and rolling out the digital experience on the Disney Cruise Line. So that's been kind of like the pillar. It's like that mixed with my experience with creator tools has been like a really nice way to like bring this together for us into something that we think works. And then I think really the main thing is just being involved with creators. Neither of us are creators in the sense of like a typical creator that has built an audience of 1 million people. So we're working with people to, um, you know, potentially even bring people onto the team. But for now, working with creators, as much as we can as through like design partnerships and stuff, just to make sure that, we are actually, there's a lot of creator tools out there. We definitely realize that,
Mm.
Beacons, Linktree, a whole bunch of tools that you stand store that you can use and, to build but what we want to be unique in that we are, really helping you build your business, not just kind of providing a tool to, add more links to your bio or be able to automate messaging in Instagram or, whatever the case may be that some of these tools are solving.
So you say you mentioned there's a lot of tools out there already, etc. And it seems like to me, or from what I am hearing, is that a differentiator that you bring to the table is a business framework to
Exactly.
a creative space, which is, as we mentioned before, is a really important dynamic that a lot of creative people just don't get or just don't understand. And that's no detriment to anyone who's creative. It's just not their niche, as it were, right? It's not just their
Exactly.
thing, but that's actually critical to stay afloat, right? They need to monetize to get cash through the door to keep their creative business afloat. So I would ask then, like, since the creator dashboard, um, what's your standout win category or campaign, or create a sort of cohort or niche that has proved like a standout win or product market fit?
Yeah, I think really the, type of creator that we think we can help best, I think that's okay. I really think it is the creator who is, you know, I hate to use follower count because you can have 500,000 followers and have, a pretty low engagement rate, or you can have a very high engagement rate. It's really, or you could be at a different partner business, so it's really about those creators that are like, look, I have built this audience. I'm, engaged with them. I want to be more engaged with them. I want to understand more about them. I'd love to leave my full-time job and make this my job. And, I think that's the key. I think, and eventually in the future, I see this helping a creator that is, you know, uh, has tons of followers maybe, but I think right now it's really about just helping these smaller creators that are just really trying to make it into this like entrepreneurship. Um, like really starting to see themselves that way. Hopefully we can make them, or we can help them see themselves that way.
So what's the
And I just think it,
standout win that you've seen in since your launch in terms of the thing that's been the most successful? Like, what is for you as a business, as Trovio, for example, you're running a business, you're running a platform, your end goal is to achieve what, and what has been the standout win to help you achieve your business goal?
mhm. um, yeah, I think really it is about just um, really what we're pushing for, at least in its current state. Let's just say the amount of email of followers that creators have been able to capture. So, we've captured to date over 5,000 emails for creators from followers. And so that's kind of our true north metric. If we can, continue to, that's just, I think it's a hard question to answer because like, it's just the first step, I think, to really show what the potential of a platform like this could be. Um, but I think right now, being able to take those emails and being able to show a number, but also just the aggregation of data. We use some pretty cool technology with LLMs to take, some zero, which is also really cool, which I didn't even really get into, is like all this data is coming from a follower's audience via first party, zero party, or first party data. So meaning they're like voluntarily giving information to the creator
Mhm.
kind of in exchange for that engagement or that trust, that personalization. So we're able to do some cool things with LLMs and with the technology that we built to turn that into this aggregated data. And just being able to show that back to creators is what, is our biggest validation right now.
So high quality lead generation is
Yeah.
base case for you demonstrating to a creator that your platform has value.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. And then how do you as a business then monetize that?
Yeah. So, um, there's right now we're actually our free tier is pretty generous for creators. There is plans to figure out what kind of features as part of that would be a premium experience for creators. But I think, ideally it would really turn into a marketplace of sorts for us to be able to, you know, build a pool of creators that brands would then be able to leverage to get the information that they can currently get via agents. That's kind of the industry standard right now, how you get brand deals. But if we can provide that to brands and to these affiliate marketing sites and kind of fill in the data, those contracts, there's that like B2B approach with those brands and those affiliate marketing platforms is where we think we can unlock most of the revenue.
Right. So then brands would pay you for high quality creators, and creators would pay you what, a percentage of the brand deal.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Got it. So you get
We're still figuring that out, still doing a lot of price testing. We want to get the platform right first. We are, self-funded, but we actually just raised some capital to kind of help support this in the short term until we kind of figure out some of those pricing strategies. But so I feel like there's lots of ways we can go, and just kind of depends on what side. But I'm really excited about the potential of it. Once we kind of get everything built, not technically, but built as far as like a lot of our go-to-market strategy is built around word of mouth. We think that's the right approach with the creator community being so highly networked. So it's just really building that up, building thought leadership in the industry, that kind of thing. So
well, I mean,
we're excited
yeah,
once that rocket launches. We're really excited on where that's going to go.
well, I mean, congratulations on getting funding.
Thank you.
That's
It's been a process.
yeah, of course it's a process. It's always a process, right? But you're obviously going very clearly in the right direction on that process or in that path. So you got to be doing something right for someone to believe into to put their money down, right? So
Yeah.
congratulations, that's a big win.
Thank you.
And I love what you're trying to do, right? I love what not you're trying to do. I love what you are doing.
Thank you.
And that's helping creators build a business around their creativity. So where are you seeing creators seeing the fastest lift? Is it email opt-ins? Is it sponsor close rates? Is it micro product sales? Where's the biggest lift?
Um, and by lift, do you mean like where creators are seeing
The biggest wins.
the biggest wins? Yeah. I think really like just the kind of the story I already talked about with like seeing parts of your niche that you didn't realize were there before, I think is really cool to see. And I think our creators that's like what we're hearing from our creators that's so exciting because they're really able to adapt not just their content, but it really helps them double down on, we don't provide this on the platform today, but, pretty much all of our creators are using ShopMy or LTK or some of these affiliate networks. So they can really double down on some of those platforms with, affiliate marketing through their newsletters, that kind of stuff. So we've had one unique, I think, unique case study of an influencer that, was doing city guides kind of with us. That was kind of, we did pivot kind of from a more of a like personalized guide into this new world. But anyway, and she found that if she just puts a newsletter out and sends links to things that she's wearing, things that she's doing, on a daily basis, like she's able to really increase her conversions. And by the way, the conversion rate just on that, like being able to send this person, again, going back to personalization, we've been seeing conversion rates on the the emails, the kind of like personalized responses back from these creators, which is something that platform does, to upwards of like 40%, which is huge. Your conversion rates typically, if you're just going to post a story, is less than 1%. So that's been a big win for us, and being able to show that through some case studies has been really cool.
That's fantastic. That's a great conversion rate, right? The
Yeah.
response rate is, definitely way higher than average. And so how do you build on that? What's your next step to building on that?
Yeah. So I think really, it is building this idea of a brand marketplace, really building these profiles of creators. Is it, you have the profiles of followers for the creators so that they can build media kits with that, or they can again take that to their affiliate networks. But honestly, I think like there's the brand side, but then there's also even just, you know, in the whole concept or the whole idea of helping creators that may not know how to create their business. I'm not saying we want to replace a ShopMy or an LTK as I think our own affiliate network, but being able to add integrations to those to easily be able to get that set up and be like, okay, this is the direction, kind of like, help the creator get to that. Um, but obviously brand deals then being, being kind of the I feel like the win. And I think where that really comes from is just building a core group of creators, which we've already are well on our way to do that, and be able to go to brands and say, look, we have these creators. Because the thing that happens today is that brands kind of have to guess, right? They have to guess on engagement rate, follower count, and views. So that's all Instagram and TikTok and YouTube are providing creators, and that's all they're able to in return provide to brands. So um, imagine a world where a brand's like, okay, I feel very confident about this creator because of, this rich data that I'm able to see about their audience, about them, mix that with their content, put that, again, the amount of analysis you can do by even putting that through an LLM, even just very simply, but you build on some of that. You can get some really unique data. And so almost being able to do like this matchmaking between the brand and the creator is where we really want to take this.
What are you seeing increasingly what brands are looking for? I mean, there's
It is really just
there's views,
good.
there's, numbers, there's engagement, and to a degree, one could argue there's a level of vanity to that because it's just numbers. So
Yeah, exactly.
what digging deeper, yes, someone can see, okay, a creator has an audience, a creator has engagement, a creator has good content, has some depth to it. How is a brand um value assessing that? What metrics are they looking for, and what are they more and more looking for? Because back in the day, someone had 1 million followers, 1 million this, 1 million that, 2 million that, 10 million this, whatever, but it wasn't converting. Like what are brands looking for from creators these days, more and more?
I mean, from we've talked to many people on both the brand side and the creator side, and honestly, the answer is vibe and gut. You as a brand kind of like, obviously look at the metrics and you're able to tell, high level how many clicks you'll get, but that doesn't necessarily resonate with, even if you get a high conversion rate with a creator, that doesn't necessarily mean that the product is going to, it's just a very unique, I think just much more unique than like traditional paid ads or media or like, or maybe advertising works a little bit differently. Like you have this like level of trust with creators that doesn't always isn't reflected in engagement rate. So really need somebody who can connect with your product and connect. Really, it's about, I guess, the audience connecting with your product, obviously. So like, but you find that kind of through the creator's audience, and being able to get that data from the creator's audience or kind of who they are. Um,
Do
but
they?
yeah, it's really gotten, I think, so just to round that out, I think, what happens is that, advertisers will spend a lot of money, brands will spend a lot of money on the kind of like, okay, I think this creator based on these vanity metrics and just their vibe, this creator, and then, they'll go out and run campaigns and obviously then look at conversions and narrow it down that way. But that costs a lot of money to get there.
Mm. So they don't actually look at the dollars that one of a creator's brands brings into their business.
So they'll look at yeah, they will, but like as far as like finding that or sourcing that creator is where the problem lies, right? So like once they find a creator that is has high conversions on their products, then that'll work. But like it's just like sourcing that creator with a limited data is the problem.
So effectively, you need a high converting creator with great content, with deep audience, deep engagement, that then has buyers for said product of said brand.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like a lot, but what's cool about what we're trying to do, I think, is I haven't really talked about much about this part of the product, but it is really kind of our core product is we kind of facilitate this AMA type of conversation. So that is, and what's cool is we use automation through LLMs to kind of help respond. It's kind of up to the creator on how much they want that to be automated. There's some creators that were like, no, I'd rather answer everything myself. There's some creators that are like, no, it's okay as long as it sounds like me, and I want to kind of review. But in essence, what we're doing is we're kind of solving all of those things. So increasing the engagement at scale. Because even a creator that says, I want to respond to every message. Yeah, maybe, but like, that's a lot, especially if you are trying to start your own business, and so you're going to get stuck in the weeds on that. So like, if we could help automate that for you, you're still responding, you're still able to see everything that goes through, and then, in return, the followers love that. I think some of the responses that we get, through these kind of AMA type conversation is just so much information just because they're getting this connect or at least perceived connection with somebody that, they're following.
For sure.
It's really cool to see.
You mentioned LLMs a number of times through the conversation thus far, and therefore, AI clearly is something, is a dynamic that you're embedding into your platform quite heavily. So, talk to me a bit more about your views on AI. And you've just mentioned, some of your creators like, no, 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 I want to do it all. I don't want a robot to do it or to do it or an AI to do it. Like, talk to me more about your sort of AI journey in context of Trovio.
Yeah. We firmly believe that AI is I think a lot of people believe this. I'm going to say we are the only ones who believe this, but, AI is an incredible tool, not a replacement. So, we see AI as a way to scale the human voice. And I think that is constantly, well, not that. What I mean by that is the freedom that you give an AI tool to replicate yourself is kind of all over the place right now. And quite honestly, kind of depends on, like, that's, I guess, going back to the creator. But we don't we don't necessarily want to, yeah, replace. We don't want to create like a Derrick bot or something, that's like completely automated. Um, we want to give creators the tool through primarily through insights and just being able, like, it's very powerful when you are able to send it, just imagine, like, even just sending it captions of all of your content and being able to, put that through an LLM and give me insights on that, like just simple stuff. But then when you get into transcribing your content or looking at all the comments on all of your videos and being able to aggregate all of that and being able to get insights on that, that's where it gets really powerful. And again, a tool to help you see. And then on the personalization side, yeah, we are sending out some messages that are AI generated. We use kind of the tone of the creator, but again, it's kind of up to the creator. They're able to set a threshold on like what the confidence level needs to be, for it to be able to kind of like replicate that. And it's really short content. It's not like we're doing voice, at least not yet, or putting together whole newsletters. It's just kind of like hey, I saw that you were interested, or I saw that you said you were interested in X, Y, and Z. I just purchased this. Just check it out if you're interested. Something pretty simple to replicate. Again, at the kind of discretion of the creator. We're continuing to play around with that. I will just say one more thing. I think, AI is here, whether you like it or not. So like, it's figuring out how to use the tool to your advantage. The flip side of that is all of the AI content that is just, OpenAI just released their like TikTok version of the, AI content, and so it is a thing. And so like, whatever you can do to differentiate yourself, is going to be key, moving forward. And I think you really need to get on board with that as a creator. Like, it's not going to go away, and you're not going to be able to say, I'm just going to produce a lot more high quality content and that'll be okay. It really is going to be about, you know, using tools to get attention, and stand out in some way.
For sure. I couldn't
Thanks.
agree more with everything you said. And, so far as I'm concerned, my view that there's going to be, whether it's a micro creator, solopreneur, or a huge corporation, there's going to be two types of businesses in this world in the future. And those businesses that embed AI solutions into their platforms and at that type of business. And the other type of business is going to be businesses that are out of business. It's as simple as
Hmm.
that. That's the way I look
Yeah,
at it. And this isn't, like you say, it's not about replacing humans. It's about empowering us to be able to
exactly.
get
Yeah.
a lot of the minutia done quickly. And for sure, from what I'm hearing from you, there is a spectrum of views and approach and embracing or not of AI. And certainly over here in the United Kingdom, I'm feeling very much the same. There's this wide spectrum. People are like, no, absolutely no way to. Yes, I'm interested, but I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to embed it. I don't and quite honestly, most people aren't, right? It's we are still embryonic stages of AI. It feels like it's saturated, and it is saturated with lots of stuff, um, but it's not properly being used. It's not properly being embedded. It's not properly being weaved into the processes of how different businesses and platforms currently operate. And that is going to be the differentiator with respect to efficiencies and productivities for any platform, whether you're a solo creator or Microsoft.
Yeah. And and I think the interesting thing about coming into the space now as a startup is, I can say this like working at big companies. It, it is not impossible. There's definitely some companies I feel like that have done it really well in the past year, but um, a lot of companies are like, okay, what can we just add AI to on our existing product to make us relevant, and so I think it's interesting, and that's been our thing, like using LLMs as like kind of the backbone to a lot of our algorithms and like our technology to power that has been um, building with AI, not just like adding AI everywhere. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, like embedding AI into the processes that currently run your business. That's
Yeah,
that's
and
clear.
the product, it's
Absolutely.
like see so many products. It's like, oh, there's a AI chatbot for what exactly? Like this is like a um. So yeah, it's we're really trying to use it for the right purpose, not just hey, we have an AI tool. Because we actually don't say that publicly. I mean, we're not trying to hide it, but we don't consider ourselves an AI tool.
Yeah, no, I
We just
100% hear what you're saying. Like having AI isn't just having a chatbot at the bottom of your website. AI,
yeah,
when I'm talking about AI, and from what I'm hearing about how you're talking about and thinking about AI, is embedding the actual generative AI technology into process that powers
yeah,
the platform.
yeah, exactly.
And that there's a big difference there between what the masses are thinking of AI, a chatbot that just turns you around in a circle, or what does it do? Like, okay, to actually affecting and impacting efficiencies to give people time back to enhance productivity, and beyond.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like we have this tool that everyone knows about, and by the way, it has AI. Or you have this tool that is powered by AI, but it's not like in your face AI. It's just like it works really well because it's powered by at least parts of it are powered by generative AI.
100%. It's not even, you almost want to get to the point whereby you're not even talking about AI. You're just talking about your product. You're talking about your platform.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Like one of the product decisions we made even was when you get these content insights, we don't say AI powered insights, we say Trovio powered insights.
right.
We're like really trying to make it because it really is. It's really, yeah, of course, the LLM's doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but it's really about how we are taking that data, sending it through the LLM, the prompts that we're using, all of that stuff that goes into it is what makes us unique versus just being able to go and to ChatGPT and dump everything in there and ask me for, what my content is.
For sure, you're personalizing it according to your bespoke requirements, needs, frameworks, etc., and what you're actually trying to achieve, and weaving it in accordingly, which is the smart way to be doing it. That's the way to be doing
Yeah.
it, which I think the masses aren't really thinking about it like that.
Yeah,
which
exactly. I agree.
which is why you're going to stand out, and that's great to hear, and it's great to have that conversation. So with that regard, like, you know what are your current bottlenecks within your platform? You've got a lot of AI empowered or embedded solutions thus far. What are your bottlenecks?
Yeah, I think it really is. Um, I think that probably a lot of products, not just in the creator economy, are experiencing this right now. But there are a lot of tools in the creator space, as I mentioned before. There are a lot of tools just in general right now. Anyone's able to go onto these platforms like Lovable, or these, or using Cursor, like AI. Vibe coding is like all this. Almost anyone's able to create an app, really. And so it's like being able to kind of stand out in that sea of of products out there. Just especially with cold reach outs, like, I know personally I get 20, 25, maybe more a day of, you know, cold email, like, because that's what I'm doing sometimes, or a lot of times. So, like, people know there must be 20 different companies that are doing some sort of cold email outreach, you know, um, that are the best to be able to do it. And, it's funny because I'm like, doing the same thing, but then reading these emails and I'm like, not another one. So I think, that's kind of, and that's why we've really shifted to, like, um transparently, we had been doing a lot of cold email. We had been doing a lot of, like, not a lot comparatively, but we have been doing some performance advertising on, like, social platforms and stuff, just because that's where creators hang out. But we really have moved into more of this world of, like, trying to get into the community kind of like bottom up, and, like, started a newsletter, for instance, that's completely free, that I'm, like, doing all of this research on the creator economy. So I'm like, why don't I just share that out and get, some people to know about Trovio that way? But really that's the only, like, hidden catch or whatever, that it's kind of as put out by Trovio. Otherwise it's just kind of the trends in the industry. So doing things like that, would love to build up a community for creators, like on a Discord or something. So looking at ways to really, like, be creative, to I think it's the same thing that creators are and will continue to be struggling with, is just getting attention in a sea of, on the creator side is content, on a startup side it's, all these new businesses.
So it's essentially standing out and reaching target audiences that care in what you're doing, because
Yeah.
it's really then it's sort of like niche targeting, right? Audience targeting, finding them in the sea of 3.3 billion meta users, right? Or whatever it might be.
Yeah, it's audience targeting, and then I think there's, like, some sort of subtractor on fatigue.
Yeah.
It's like, even if I am the right person, like, going back to that cold email example, like, I am looking for a tool that is really good at cold email, that can tell me when my emails are going to spam, that are, you know, but I'm still ignoring all 20 emails I get
Right.
just because it's almost like I need to find it. I need to discover it. I don't know. That maybe that's just a personal thing, um, but I think that's what is happening. And um, like, once we are able to get through to somebody and actually show them the product, the I don't think it's zero, but it is very, very small percentage of creators that have made it through the noise and, like, actually landed on our product and signed up,
Mm.
that have churned, or that have, just, like, stopped responding in the beginning. Like, it's really easy to get people through the funnel once we're able to. And part of that could be our messaging. Like, that's what we always go back to, because that's the only thing we can really, not the only thing we can control, but that's the easiest thing to control.
Mm.
And so we've iterated on messaging time and time again, and we'll continue. I don't think that'll ever end.
Yeah.
But
So basically, uh, email targeting, messaging, getting the right audience, and trying to get over fatigue of getting
yeah,
so many emails. So then flip the script. What would change your fatigue to open up an email?
yeah, it's a good question. I don't have a great answer because I think about this often. I forward any email that, like, actually does catch my attention slightly. Still don't even respond to it. But I will forward it to Andrew, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. But I that's why I think it is. But I think to answer your question more directly, for me, and I know this is just a personal thing, but I will be more inclined to use the tool if I'm hearing somebody else talking about it, or if they're in some community that I'm in, and that's why I'm really trying to do with Trovio is like, uh, I mean, and I truly believe, and I truly want to work with creators. So it's not like a hard stretch to like kind of be involved in this community, but you know, get get people talking about it kind of from within or in these like private communities. I think that's if, for instance, if I'm on like a private Slack, like I have a million private Slack channels that I'm like part of, and like I'm on a private Slack channel with like, I used to be an iOS developer, so like there's like even if they're talking about some like new tool that they found, um, I'll probably go try that. I'll definitely be more likely to try that out than any email that I would get.
So basically, someone or an area or a platform or a channel where you sort of know, like, and trust a little bit or have some sort of affiliation with, um, is what you might then not be fatigued to ignore.
Yeah, because I think the fatigue. I've never really thought about this before, but I think I mean, I've thought about it, but not this exact thing. But I think the fatigue removes trust, if that makes sense. So it's like you just see so much of it. It's like, eventually you just stop. Like you're like, not everyone can be genuinely trying to solve cold email, or and it's like there's so I think that's why, like, if you in private communities, it doesn't have to be private. I mean, it could be something as big as a subreddit, or just something where there's like, that there's some sort of that there's some sort of moderation in place, whether it's by other people in this private community. Reddit's really good at moderating self promotion, like, whatever the mechanism is, that there's like some sort of somebody's doing the work of like the vetting, whether that's other people or whether that's, the platform itself. But somebody's doing that vetting. And, I think that gives you like the ability to, as somebody, the company or this, the product, it gives you a leg up that, you're being kind of recommended by an organic, um, means.
So interesting then. What made you reply to my email?
Yeah, that is interesting because I, I don't normally reply to emails. And I think it's just I actually started a podcast myself recently. And so, I have like I guess a little soft spot for that. And I again just trying to get the word out, about Trovio. I love talking about the journey. I love talking about you know, what I think will be disruptive in this economy that is just like very heavily weighted towards one side. So yeah, it's not a great answer. So, but
Well, I
something
appreciate it,
something that.
whatever it was. Like, if you want to reflect and get back to me on that, that'd be fantastic because I'm going to double
Yeah,
down on it. That's so. I mean, looking ahead, what would make Trovio a category creator rather than sort of a feature? Like, what's your 12-month roadmap for Trovio, and what are you most excited about?
I am. Hopefully this happens within 12 months, but I really think that we can give creators an alternative to start their own business without having to go and hire an agent. Not saying we are going to completely replace all agents, but the example I would give is, years ago, if you wanted to travel, you pretty much had to hire a travel agent because, the internet, I guess, wasn't really a thing, or, you didn't have these ways to like go and research your vacation or even book. So you had to hire a travel agent. And to this day, there are advantages in hiring a travel agent, and I'm not saying there are not going to be advantages to having an agent as a creator, but I think there's a huge appetite for creators that want to do this in-house, that don't want to have to, that want to run their business, and want to know what brand deals should look like. That's some of the things I haven't really even talked about, but just like being able to see, okay, this is a fair price for a brand deal, based on other deals that are happening on the platform. So that'd be great if that happens in 12 months. But that's kind of the vision, is just disrupting this world of, agents having to be in the middle of every monetizable opportunity for creators.
Understood. Yeah, no, absolutely. So tell me one prediction, like for the creator economy looking into 2026 that most people would disagree with.
I think that AI generated content, going back to that, is going to be pretty big. I think it's interesting in that it gives, what I think everyone looks at right now is just, well, I think everyone refers to it as AI slop, I think is like the term that I've heard. And it really is right now. But once you're able to, again, pair human creativity with people that are just not creative in the way that they are great at filming on camera or producing or editing videos, and like what they're creative at is writing a script, essentially,
Uh,
to create this unique video. And so I think, again, it's really going to be about the using the tool to best amplify your creativity. I think that's, and I say that with a grain of salt, because I know, I don't want, no one wants to scroll through any feed or whatever, or even read blog posts and like everything's just generated by AI. Like
mm.
you don't want that. And I'm not suggesting that, but I do think there will be a lot more AI content, and um, just all the more reason to like diversify your business and go into more than just content.
For sure. And I think what the irony is, right? You can have all these AI tools. You mentioned Lovable, you mentioned Cast, you mentioned all these different things that are coming out, OpenAI, replication of TikTok, etc. It's all very well having these tools. But if the person steering the ship not just doesn't know how to use it, but doesn't know what to fill it with, it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
makes
That's what you don't want.
creator even more valuable, right? And that's
Yeah,
what creators aren't getting, or people or masters aren't getting. Is like, no, it doesn't take you away. It's only going to make you even more powerful should you
yeah,
understand what is at your fingertips.
yeah. I completely agree. Yes,
And that's what's
definitely.
like mad about this is like, don't you still get that it's like having a pen and a paper? Everyone's got paper, everyone's got a pen or a pencil, right? We've all got the tools, but it depends who's writing the words
Right.
and what words they're writing and what's coming out from their
Yep.
organic brain into reality that is the differentiator, not the pad that you're writing on, not the pen that you're holding. It's what you write. And that comes still down to the human, not the AI. So the
Yep.
AI is just the tool to amplify what's in here beyond what we've ever been able to do before. And that, I couldn't agree with you more. It is about the AI, but it's about allowing it to amplify self.
Yep.
And the more creative one is, the more powerful you should see this uh, as a tool for your benefit.
Yep. Yeah, I could not agree more. You're going to be able to reach more people, to do things that you wouldn't, everyone has a gap in their skills too, like, maybe you're great on camera, but you're not great at editing video, or maybe, but that shouldn't inhibit you to be able to express what you really want to express. As long as you're, using, like you said it very well. Being able to just unlock some of those pieces, without spending a ton of money too, which is great.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't agree more. It lends itself so well into Trovio's platform. You
Yep.
know, if we look at what we've talked about here, we've talked about how you're bringing together creators, trying to match them with the correct brands, trying to help people build creators who don't know about business, build something that is efficient by way of a business framework to lower their costs, and having the background AI that helps this whole process significantly more efficiently. But then there's an education piece to show creators who are against the AI to sort of show them that actually, no, this will empower you further, not take you over. And I think in that sense, there's still a long way to go, but you are revolutionizing the solo creator trying to amplify themselves. And the irony is the very thing that people are against is the very thing that is going to help the solopreneur,
Yep. Yeah, it
solo
is.
creator eat the big brands, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think
Yeah.
I think it's great that you're doing this. That you have this platform that you're building, and it's a case of adoption of that. It's the case of the education of that out there and getting, as you say, also the biggest thing is targeting the right people to adopt this and then talk about this and within communities, right? So, recapping there, I think those elements are lots of moving parts. I couldn't agree more with what you're doing. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Um, before we wrap up, where can our listeners find you and Trovio? And are there any specific projects or initiatives you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, I mean, GoTrovio.com, or GoTrovio on all of the, until we get Trovio.com, on all of the socials. You can find me on LinkedIn, Derrick Showers. And I think the biggest thing right now is, yeah, we're really looking for a creator in residence to join our team, kind of be part of the initial team, um, getting the word out. So we're really excited about that. But yeah, I really appreciate this conversation. I think it's just been super. I've even gotten some nuggets out of it that I'm going to
Right.
take back with me, and so it's always fun to have these conversations.
Derek, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed listening to your insights and learning more about GoTrovio. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this conversation, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Please check out Derek. Please check out GoTrovio. They are looking for an in-house creative, so you know where to go. Contact him. You can please also leave a review on this platform. Thank you very much. Thank you to our listeners, and thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
Thank you.